So in Java, literals and variables, how they can be represented, that we shall see. So the basic data types we have seen as Boolean, character, byte, short, int, long, float, and double. So these are the categories of primitive data types. And for that, how literals means constant values, how they can be considered by the Java compiler. So integer literals, floating point literals, Boolean, character, string. So in each category, we can have constant values. And what are all the valid constant values and what type by default it takes. These things we are going to cover. So under integer literals, almost all the normal decimal numbers will come. So by default, it is decimal category. And if it is an octal value, we can proceed with 0. Like int x equal to 072. If I am assigning means that is considered as an octal value. So normally we will give int x equal to 10. So in that way, if I give, this is a decimal 10. Instead, if I give 010, this will be considered as an octal 10. The corresponding value. So 10 in octal means what is the meaning? So that will be considered here. And if I give 09, that is invalid here. Because in octal, the valid digits are 0 to 7. After 7, again we should continue from 0. So 09, if I give, the compiler will report an error. There is no number called 9 in the octal representation. And in hexadecimal, we can represent with prefix 0x, 0 small x or 0 capital X. So the same way, x equal to int, x equal to, I can mention as 0 small x, a, e, 2, 3. So in that way, I can assign values like this. So you all know in hexadecimal representation, 10 to 15 is represented with A to F. Okay, so that notation we can remember here. So in that way, hexadecimal constants can be assigned. So here literal, what I mean here is this. So int x, x is a variable and this 10, this is a constant. There is no other value for this 10. Always 10 is 10. So its value is not changing. Okay, it is a constant value. So that is actually literal or constant. In that way, you can remember that. So and for long variable, we should insert L or capital L or small l at the end. So like this. So we'll be giving long some L1, variable name L1 is equal to, I could mention 234. If this is by default, if I give 234, it is coming under the integer range. So it will be considered as an integer. Instead, I want to make the compiler to represent this as a long variable. And I should succeed with a L, capital L or small l, both we can use. The reason here is, if it is long means it occupies 64 bits in the memory. If it is integer, only 32 bits. So whether it should occupy 32 bits or 64 bits, accordingly I can represent this. So I want the compiler to make it 64 bit compulsorily. Then I should give L at the end of the number. If I am not giving, by default, it is considered as an integer, as like we have given here. So that is the notation for L. And similarly for byte data type and short, normally we can give like byte b equal to 2. So in the same way, I can give how I am giving integer. So 2 is by default, it is an integer. Any constant without any specific value I am giving means it is integer decimal. Integer decimal. But here I am trying to assign one integer into a byte value. As long as this value is coming under the byte range. So byte occupies 8 bits. So 2 power 8 is 256. So one half is for positive sign, the other half is for negative sign. All these we have seen. So up to plus 127 and this range, negative range minus 128. So that was the range for byte. So up to 127 if I give without any confusion, this will assign. But instead if I am giving 200, 200 is an integer, but I am trying to assign it in the byte variable and it reports an error, or instead of 200 some other value will be taken, like 200 minus 27. So that value is actually assigned in the value B, because to represent 200 we need more than 8 bits. Okay, so you can recollect binary to decimal, that conversion. So 200 requires more than 8 bits. Okay, so that cannot be stored in the 8-bit byte variable. So a wrong value will be stored or it reports an error. So these are all about integer literals, integer constants. So in integer we have seen 4 categories: byte, short, int and long. So byte and short will take normal integer constant as long as it is coming under this range. Otherwise it reports an error. And normally int takes all other normal decimal values or by default integer. For long, we should give either small l or capital L, long constant. And for octal and hexadecimal, octal should be preceded with 0 and hexadecimal should be preceded with 0x. This x can be small x or capital X. So the Java compiler will automatically understand that it is belonging to hexadecimal representation. This is belonging to octal representation. So accordingly we can give. So next, to specify this integer literal using binary, we can proceed with 0b or 0 capital B. So this is also a provision here. So 1010, this is 1010, not 1010. Okay, instead of 1010, if I want to make the compiler to understand this as 1010 binary number, so I can precede it with 0b, int x equal to 0b1010. So in that way, binary literals can be stored into the program. So you are creating some Java program for binary related calculations, like bitwise operation, something for denoting like IP address. Okay, networking IP address is commonly popular. That is generally for our own representation, we'll be giving binary decimal notation, but originally IP addresses are processed by the router, the connecting device, okay, as binary. So that sort of programs, networking programs, we are writing in Java. So in that case, we can represent a value in binary with the prefix 0b. And to represent larger integer constants, we can embed underscores. Like very big number is there, continuously some digits are there, means it is difficult for us to see and read which number I have read or not, up to which, how many digits are totally there. So there may be some confusion. So in that case, we can use underscores here and there, but the compiler eliminates the underscore and take the number as it is. So for this case, you could see 123 underscore 456 underscore 789. So the compiler actually considers this as continuous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, like this. So, like, okay, 123 million 456,789. Okay, so in that way we can use underscores to represent for our own understandability. And more than one underscore also we can use. Here you could see 2 underscores are used. So that is not at all a problem. More than one underscore also we can use. But the compiler removes the underscore and takes all these as a single number. So this will be useful when we are processing with the telephone numbers, some customer ID, bigger account numbers and all. To separate multiple parts, we can use underscores. This is for human readability, not for the computer's benefit. And the same can be used with the binary digits also. Instead of decimal, we can also use underscores with the binary values also. Because normally 4 binary digits are easy to remember, or generally it is coded like that. For normal handwritten case also, 4 binary digits, 4 binary digits can be grouped and written for better understanding and reading. So for that also we can use underscores, and the compiler will remove the underscores and take this as a complete single binary value. So these are the ways how we can represent integer literals. So now we shall see some sample programs using this integer literals. Then we shall move on to the next category, floating point literals. So now, I am creating a new Java program. So I hope you all have started installing Eclipse IDE. If you have any doubt or anything, you can ask me. Any difficulty? So now I am giving int literal. Int literals. So I am giving the class name as int literals. And inside that, first we shall start from byte. Byte B is equal to, normally as I told, any normal value, if I give this 15 is actually an integer value, but properly it can be stored in B because this 15 is coming in the range of B. To represent 15, we need only 8 bits. So without any confusion, it can be printed. So I'm trying to print. Or I can give B equal to plus B. So the assigned value of B is printed. So now simply I am running this. Yes, B equal to 15, that is printed. I hope you could see this. Now, instead of, as I told, B is having the range. What is the range of byte variable? Just recollect that. Range of a byte variable is minus 128 to plus 127. So beyond this, if I am trying to assign a value, for example, 130. 130 is beyond this plus 127. So now I am trying to assign, you could see here itself it is silly. Cannot type mismatch, cannot convert from int to byte. So by default, this constant is integer constant and this cannot be converted into byte because the size exceeds. So it reports an error. This cannot be accommodated here. So I can give like minus 15. Yes, minus 15 it accepts. So it is coming. Yes, b equal to minus 15. Yes, it is coming. So in the negative range, minus 150 if I give. Again, it reports an error. You could see add typecasting, manual casting it requires. Add casting to byte. Change type of b to int. So these are the suggestions this IDE is telling. But normal Java compiler will report an error. Okay. So the suggestion here, this is the advantage of this IDE. So this IDE automatically gives us some tips. How can we change the corresponding code? So here this Eclipse IDE is telling, if we type the program in Notepad and we are compiling using normal command prompt, these type of hints will not come. Simply it reports error at line 5. You could see at line 5 there is an error. That's all. But the IDE will suggest in what way we can change the line, or what is exactly the wrong mistake here. Okay, so those are helpful when we use the IDE. So in industry, generally the program developers will use the IDE. So byte B equal to manual typecasting of byte 150. Okay, so that is the suggestion it is giving. So if we do manual typecasting, this will truncate the value. I'll tell you what is truncation means. Shrink according to the number of bits that can be accommodated in byte. So that will be assigned here. We shall see what is the value getting printed. So I am typecasting this minus 150 into byte, and I am trying to store in byte variable. So now in this case, the result printed as 106. You could see. So 150 is in no way it can be represented in a 8-bit byte variable, because to store 150 we need more than 8 bits. So it is truncating the remaining bits. Only up to the 8 bits what are the values there. So only that is printed here. So even if we typecast, the original value what we expect will not come here. So while assigning integer constants, we have to be carefully assign to the whether it is byte variable or short or what. Accordingly, that value we can assign. So I hope you got some idea how integer literals are working. Okay, if not, you can ask me. If you have at this point, if you have any doubt, you can immediately ask me. I will clarify that. So now the same case is for short also. So now short, yes. Any name we can give for ease of understanding. I am giving yes. So 15. So short variable takes 2 bytes, 16 bit. So anything that can be represented using 16 bit we can give here. So range of short would be, so we should remember, because while assigning values we should not give a wrong statement, so that the range we should remember. So it should be minus 65,000 divided by 2 minus 24 something. So for simplicity, I am giving minus 24,000 to plus 24. So beyond this range, if I try to assign some value, it reports an error. The exact value I don't remember, so I am giving like this. 27,000. 27,000 something. Okay. So now yes equal to yes. So 15 without any difficulty it will print. So these things I am just making as comment, because now we are seeing about short. Okay. Now yes, this 15 is again an integer, but it is coming under the range of short. Without any problem it is getting printed. Now I am making this to 150. 150 is again coming under the range of short because it accommodates up to 27,000. So this time also it can run. Yes, S equal to 150. So now I am trying to store 28,000. Positive 28,000, that is crossing this range. So now let us see what happens. It is, it is 32,000. 32,000 something. Okay. So now I am giving 33,000. Yes, immediately when I give 33,000, it is reporting an error. Type mismatch cannot convert from int to short. And it is suggesting me typecast. Manual typecast. If I manual typecast, this 33 will not come. Some other value because the remaining bits are truncated, cut. Okay. So now we could see minus 32, 536. So that is printed. So plus 33,000 I am trying to assign in short. Even though I am giving manual typecasting, the value printed is a different value because 33,000 requires more than 16 bits to be stored in the memory. So I am trying to store means the remaining values are truncated. That's all. So in that way we could store. If the same 33,000 I can store in integer. Int I equal to 33,000. Yes, this will work without any confusion because this is taking 4 bytes. So integer occupies even more number of values. So now this 33,000 without any error is printed here. So now I run this program, we could see, okay, I equal to 33,000. Yes, this value don't have any problem with I. So integer is having its own range. Beyond that, I am giving a value here. Again, this will report an error. Okay. And for long, I can normally give 33,000. By default, 33,000 is of integer. So this integer is occupying 4 bytes and I am trying to store that in 8 bytes value. So there is a room for 8 bytes. I am trying to store a 4 byte value in that. So no, nothing wrong in that. So this is getting printed. So I can give L. Okay. So now I am trying, yes, L equal to 33,000. So this is getting printed, no problem. Even bigger values also I can give, but exactly this 33,000 should occupy 64 bits in the memory. So in this case, it occupies only 32-bit memory. Sorry, what is that? 4-bit. Yes, 32-bit memory. In that way only it is occupied in the considered by the compiler. But still, I want to make this integer constant. To occupy 64 bits means I can represent with L. So now, as per the compiler, it is a long constant, long type constant. So this also works here. So this 33,000 for a user, there will not be no difference, but internally how it is stored. So that will be the difference here. So these are all about integer literals. So I hope you got some idea about integer literals, how they can be assigned and stored, how it is considered by the compiler accordingly. So can anyone say at this point, is that understandable? Yes, Pa. Thank you. So now, so we shall proceed with the presentation. So next is floating point literals, floating point constants. So in this, we have two notations, standard notation and scientific notation. In standard notation, generally you all know what is floating point number. decimal value with fractional component. That is a floating point value. So some examples we could say 2.0, 3.14, 0.667. So these are all floating point constant examples. And this representation is known as standard notation. Okay, so this is actually standard notation. Scientific notation means with exponent. E23 with exponent also I can represent any number. So this E represent exponent, and this is specifying a power of 10 by which the number is to be multiplied. So we could see 6.022 E23 means 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. That is the meaning here. So in a normal programming instruction, we cannot mention 10 to the power 23. So for that, we simply give E, exponent E, either small e or capital E, anything we can use. Both can be used. Okay, either small e or capital E followed by any decimal number. So that can be positive or negative. Like you could see here it is E minus 0.5, meaning that the value in decimal that has been given in the left side of E into 10 to the power minus 0.5, power of minus 0.5. So in many of your calculations like mechanical, civil, in those your area, you may have several calculations that involves 10 to the power plus value, 10 to the power minus value. So for that you are developing a Java program. Yes, you need this knowledge. So we can represent using this exponent notation, scientific notation. And here 2e plus 100. So this plus is optional here. Without this plus, by default it is positive, or we can even explicitly give plus here. So 2 multiplied with 10 to the power 100. That is the meaning here. So I hope you can understand this. Yes? So now in the same way how we have assigned the integer values, we can assign these floating point values also, like float f equal to 6.022 E23. So in that way I can assign a value. Float f equal to 6.022 E23, or in an expression. Expression means some calculation, mathematical calculation. So in that, how we are using a radius calculation of area of a circle means how do we give pi r square, that is the area of circle. What is the value of pi? 3.14. So to calculate that, I'll be giving 3.14 into r into r. So 3.14 is a floating point value. Likewise, if there is a complex mathematical formula, in that one big floating point value is to be used like this, 6.022 into 10 power 23. So that we can represent like this, E23, either small e or capital E. Now, so by default, all floating point values are coming as double precision, or considered as double. As for integer literals, all integer literals are considered as integer. Even though we are giving it for byte or short or long, by default it is integer. Here by default it is double. To specifically mention this is coming under float, that means only 32 bits are to be occupied in the memory. In that case, either I should give small f or capital F for the floating point constant. So for double, by default it is double, like simply I am giving 3.14, means this is considered as double only, though it is a small value. It doesn't require 64 bits, but still I'm not mentioning what type it is, so it is considered as a double value. Or specifically I want to mention this as a double value means I can give it as D, not precede, it should be succeeded with. So this is not correct. Okay, succeeded with D or D, as we are giving for long variable. So in that way, we should give D or small d, capital D or small d. For float, small f or capital F. And we can even mention hexadecimal floating point literals also. That can also be represented as we are representing integer values with 0x. The same way we can give, but for exponents, it should be P instead of E. Power. P means power here. Instead of normal exponent, the hexadecimal literal should use P instead of E. So 0x 12.2 P2 means 12.2 power 2. So in that way, it should be considered. We have to give in the program. So this you can remember. And P is called binary exponent, indicates the power of the 2. So by which the number is multiplied. So therefore, this 0x 12.2 P2 represents 72.5. So this you can remember. So these are the considerations you should remember regarding floating point literals. Now, similar to integer literal, we can add underscores here also. You could see both in the decimal value side, also in the fractional part side. So here also I can include underscores. So this 1 underscore 0 underscore 9 is considered as 0.109. And here this number is considered as like this. So this also we can use, you can remember that. And next comes Boolean literals. Boolean literals are very simple, as I told, only two possible constants, always only these values we can use, true or false. So these are not originally converted into any numerical representation. True means true, false means false, but it occupies only one bit. In that sense, we can think 1 means true, 0 means false. But originally, the compiler will not interpret that into numerical value. It simply considers it as true means true, false means false. That's all. No other integer conversion internally. Okay, though it is storing the value as 0 or 1 in the single 1-bit value. Okay, so internally what happens, we couldn't conclude. So the true literal in Java does not equal to 1 or false is equal to 0. That is not the general meaning. True is true, false is false. So these Boolean literals can be assigned only to Boolean variables, or we can use those literals in an expression. That's all. Only two possible ways to use this Boolean literal. And next is character literal. And as I told, this uses 16-bit Unicode character set instead of 8-bit ASCII code set. So up to 256, all the ASCII characters are as it is, and beyond that, we have, as I told, any regional language inclusion, so many things we can use. So these character constants should be given within single quote, as some examples are mentioned here. Within single quote A, within single quote Z. Within single quote any special character like plus, minus, star, slash, at symbol, dollar symbol, anything we can represent. And we all know what is escape sequence. The single quote itself I want to mention means with the escape character called slash. With that we can use slash n for new line. So these are also character literals. And for octal notation, we can represent within single quote backslash 3-digit octal number. So this can be represented octal notation. Backslash 3-digit number means it is considered as an octal value in character. Okay, so this value represents small a. And hexadecimal notation, we should give /u 4 digits. /u followed by 4 digit. This is ISO Latin A. Okay, Latin. As I told, regional languages can also be coded using Java. Java is having provision for all. Tamil language, Hindi, anything, Sanskrit, Urdu. So you could see /u A432 is a Japanese character. Okay, so it is having a bigger size, so it can accommodate many type of regional languages. And next comes string literals. This is the last category under literals. And normally strings are mentioned using double quotes. In the same way, we can mention here. You could see two, new line, then lines. Means two is considered in the first line, and lines is considered in the next line. And this is in quotes. You could see I have used the escape sequence here. So the complete output will be within double quotes. So normally within double quote, what I am giving will be printed, and double quotes itself is to be printed means we can go with escape sequences. And one very important thing we should remember here is Java strings must begin and end on the same line. It should end on the same line. Two lines, double quotes opened, and I am typing welcome to Java programming class, and likewise I am typing, it goes to the second line, means that will be wrong in the single line. So I should end the double quotes in the same line. One more line I have to mention means give it as a second literal, and we can append these two. So that is the proper usage of string constants. Now variables. So we all know what is a variable. Variable means variable. It keeps on changing. So that is a variable. So till now we have seen constant, that is having same meaning always. But here variables will have different meaning according to the value we are storing into it. So different time we can store different values into that. Int x equal to 10. After that I am making x plus plus, means it becomes 11. The value may change. So those are called as variables. So this is the basic unit of storage in any programming language, and hence in Java also. And the variable is defined by the combination of an identifier and the type and an optional initializer. Identifier means the value x, what I am telling. Type means if it is integer type means I am giving the type as int. So int x, this itself is enough, or some optional initializer like x equal to 5. Okay, in this way also I can declare a variable. So this is optional initializer. The value 5 is initialized to x. So that is the meaning here. So you all know what is this initialization, declaration, all these. I hope you remember all these. Okay, simply declaration means int x. Initialization means int x equal to 5. So this initialization can be done while declaration, or separately we can do in the next line. Okay. So now all variables are having a scope. Scope of the variable, lifetime of the variable, where it is having a valid visibility. So that defines the visibility and the lifetime. So scope of the variable. Generally, normally in C programming and all the variables are to be declared in the start first few lines. In between the program, we cannot declare any variable. But here, anywhere, like int x, I have initialized and I am writing some code, some for loop, if those things I have written, and now I want to use y, and directly I am giving into y. So that is also possible. So we can declare anywhere in the program, but before using that, we have to declare it. Before using the variable, we should declare it, but anywhere in the program, in the middle, at the end, anywhere. So this is one major difference here with C and Java. And the general syntax for any variable is, as I told here, you could see with comma as a separator, we can give more than one identifiers also, like int x equal to 2, comma y equal to 5, comma z equal to likewise. So in a single line, I can give any number of identifiers. So that is the meaning here. And the type could be any of the primitive type, or it can be a name of a class or an interface. For class, if I am creating a variable, means it is actually called as an object of that class. So that we'll be seeing afterwards. Okay. And similarly, another construct here, that is interface, similar to class. So that also we'll be seeing. So this type can be any one of the atomic type, that is primitive data type, or it can be a class, or it can be an interface. And the scope of the variable, generally in C programming, we will be seeing like local scope and global scope. Local means visible within the program. Global means visible even outside the program. But here in Java, there is no specific local versus global, but this is also available here. But instead of local scope and global scope context, we'll be more concerned about method scope, class scope, whether it is visible within the class or even outside the class. You can recollect that Java is best suited for internet programming. Internet means everywhere. We should access any program from anywhere. So that is the idea. So class scope means what I have given inside the class may also be required to be accessed even outside. So that is the main thing. So method means inside a function, whether it is visible. I mean, if it is declared inside a function, means function here in Java will be generally denoting as method. So within a method, it is declared means method scope. Inside the class, declared as private means within the class. As public means even outside the class. So generally, scope of a variable defined here more focused towards method visibility or class visibility or public visibility. Okay, so we'll be seeing about this more when we progress further. Okay, so these are all the concepts that are covered in today's class, like constants, 5 categories of constants, and variables.